Hello, everybody. Greetings from Kyiv, Ukraine. This is Pastor Sunday Adelaja saying hi to you. Thank you for watching this program. I have very interesting guests with me today, and we want to talk about the History Makers Bible School in England. And we have a school like that in London, if you don't know about it. And we've already had our first set of graduates. So I want to talk to some of those graduates today, just for you to have a full understanding of what History Makers is all about. And for you to know and to realize that you actually need to be in this Bible school. It's a Bible school that actually demonstrates what is called History Makers. This is a Bible school that helps you to make significance with your life and to become somebody of value, and just not just live an ordinary life like millions and billions live that nobody even remembers that they ever lived. But the purpose of creating this Bible school is that when you finish it, you know for sure that you want to make a difference with your life and that you want to become a person that is a history maker. And I want to hear the testimonies of our friends today so that you'll be able to be convinced that one Saturday a month is not something too much for you. Just one Saturday to invest in your future, to make you a history maker, a great person that is making a difference in his generation. Now, Sister
Bumi
Balogun, pleased to meet you.
Bankole
Akinlade, pleased to meet you.
Same here, sir.
Now, how did you come across the History Makers Bible School?
I was flicking through the channels one day, and I got to a Christian channel. And the first thing that struck me was, who is this black preacher? And everybody in the congregation is white. I've never heard about you. I had absolutely no clue.
Yeah, I'm in the wilderness, yeah.
This was June last year. And I sat back and I watched it. And I'm like, he must have something different, because that's not how it works here in the UK. If my preacher is black, everybody in the congregation is black. And then at the end of the program, you advertised the History Makers Bible School. And I took a pen, I wrote it down, I put it on my table. And then I started having thoughts. I was like, I've always wanted to go to Bible school. I thirst after God. I've been a Christian for more than 15 years. But there's always still that there's something missing. There's something in me that there's something missing. And I was like, but this once a month, it might not actually give me all the things I want from the Bible. I wanted something intensive and core. But I said, well, think about it. It's starting in September. And I put it aside. And then in July, I went for a Christian program, came back at about 11 p.m. It was a Benny Hinn program, to be specific. And then I was eating. And let me just flick through while I'm eating and checking my hot meals. And then I saw your interview on Revelation Television. And then you started talking about church, you know, being outside the four walls. And something just resonated within me that, yeah, this is the kind of thing that I want to hear. Let me go and give it a try. And right there that night, 11 p.m., I went onto the website. I registered. My sister was sleeping. I called her. I said, come and hear this. We both registered, and we're like, we need to be there in September to see what it is that they have to offer us. And I have not been disappointed.
What difference did this Bible school create in your life or bring to your life?
I must say, when I got
the
there
encounter itself.
On the first day, I must admit that I went through emotional trauma.
Are you serious?
I am telling you.
No, I can't believe that.
I was weeping. You know, you took us during the first session, and I was like, where have I been? What have I been hearing? I have sat under different ministers. I have sat under great men of God. And it was like, are you born again? And I realized that I gave my life. I enthroned Jesus. But the teachings I had been hearing had been, you know, just taking Jesus off the throne. And I was enthroning myself without realizing it, because it was all about me, my career, my aspirations. I still had a heart for God. I still thirsted after God. But it just dawned on me that day that, in fact, you're off track. It's no longer about God. It has now become you. And from that night, I got home. I couldn't sleep. I bought Church Shift that night. And I tell you, sir, I read...
Church Shift is one of my books.
Yeah, because, you know, it was said that day that that's a textbook and you must buy it. And I read it all through that night. I didn't go to church the second day because I'm like, to go and do what now? I had to reevaluate my life. And I just thank God for the whole process, because I know that it was God's timing. I wasn't there by accident. I knew that God saw my heart, and God saw that I was just looking for him everywhere. If they call this, let me go. I might get something. But when I came, I said, yes, this is what I have been looking for. I need to change. I need to become Christ-like. I need to go back and work on myself. And the things that we learned in school about church in the society, church being a social organization, not about 40 days fastings and deliverances just for breakthroughs and open heavens. And I realized that this is why people do not want to come to church, because we're not out there engaging with them. We're here and they're here, and there's a missing link. And it was that missing link that we got in the Bible school. You taught us how to go out as NGOs and interact with society, the wisdom not to go on the platform, of the state and things like that. And I must say that I'm a totally different person, and I just appreciate your life, and I thank God for the vision and the calling that he has given to you. And I know that there's so many people in church. I'm not a minister, I'm just a member. And I know that there's so many people in church that have this hunger and that have this thirst. They're sitting there and are like, God, I'm looking for you. I'm reaching for you. And I believe strongly that this is what they need. And I like to encourage people. It's not about denomination. We're all there in the school, brothers and sisters from various churches. But there's one common thing that drives us. We're thirsting and seeking after God. And everybody has testified that, yes, this is the missing link. This is what I have been looking for. This is what Christ called me for, to reach out and touch people, to be a God representative, for people to see me and see Christ, not for people to come looking into the building and thinking that this is where God is, but for me to bring God out to society. And for me now, I'm getting to that point, where it's like, it's not about me. God, you created me. Why did you create me? Where is my territory? Where is my promised land? Who are the people that you want me to reach? What am I supposed to do to reach out to them? How can I touch them? And things like that. So for me, it's been a transformation. And for me personally, I think it's the beginning of my road to destiny, because I think that's what I've been looking for. And I haven't found an answer to until now.
Amazing, amazing. You said that so eloquently. So many people I meet and who hear me speak, and I've been to Kiev here, I've been to the Bible school, history makers, maybe in London, maybe in France, maybe in New York, they say the same thing. They say, after an encounter with you, it's like we're just getting to know what Christianity is all about. Some of them are actually saying, just like you said, I'm getting born again afresh. And what have and you'd been a Christian for 15 years before you came to this school. And it's like, what have I been doing in church? And Bankole, what was your experience like? How did you get to know about the school?
Well, I must start by actually just first of all acknowledging that it's a big privilege, being able to have this interview with you. I would have to start from a little bit of a background of where I came from. Just over 10 years ago, I came to know Christ, but not out of a need for anything. I was satisfied in terms of my career. Well, I was in school, I was doing well. I wasn't in need of health. I was mentally okay, physically fit. Everything was fine. So when I became a Christian, then the next question was, okay, what next? Because I thought that coming to Christ would basically take me to my next level of destiny.
I see.
That was my expectation, because the Christians that I came in contact with at the time, particularly my brother-in-law who actually influenced me, was living a life that basically impacted my life positively. So I really wanted to make a difference with my life. So shortly after becoming a Christian, for the next 2 years, I was really searching, third year. But then shortly after that, let's say about 4 years into my being a Christian, I came in contact with some of your materials. And it just, was a revelation for me. My eyes just opened, and I could just pinpoint the fact that exactly was what I was looking for. So I came to Kiev last year. I thought I'd already met with enough of the materials, and I could basically preach some of your messages, teach some of your ideas. But what I saw here was a transformation for me. I couldn't explain it. In fact, it was best experienced than actually explained to anybody. So looking at the sort of people that came around, number one, the fact that the conference was not the usual teaching kind of conference whereby, a minister comes and talks and, feeds people that are already fed. It was more of testimonies. And I'm reminded of the idea of, basically going to war and basically coming to share the conquers and the Christians coming to testify of what God has done, bringing the exploits into the kingdom. I saw likes of Life Without Excuse, this group of people that are disabled and yet they have a ministry. So I said, what is my own excuse? I don't have any. I mean, my heart was torn apart. I mean, all the sessions were so impactful for me. You know, talk about how you influence politics, you know, how you influence the social arena, and all the spheres of life. For me, it was too much of an experience for me to just take in those.
You basically saw a new Christianity.
Oh, I experienced something new. It was amazing. Even when I share with people today, I tell them that, look, what I'm saying is just a fraction, just like the tip of the iceberg. You need to go to Ukraine to experience this phenomenon that God is doing there. You know, and I've always wondered why in churches in the UK you'd have a black preacher, you know, and they are called gifted people. But when you look into the congregation, we never managed to impact the white community. Mm-hmm. I knew there was something wrong. So when I went to Ukraine, I haven't heard before that your congregation was mainly, you know, the
Caucasians,
ethnic Caucasians there, or the people that the people of the land. I understood why. Because most people in our communities are not asking God, they don't need what we are selling or what we are offering.
I see. They don't need our products.
They don't
we have African products in the UK trying to use African products to win Europeans.
Exactly. They don't need money because the welfare state is there. You know, if they are sick, they would rather just go to the hospital. They are fine with that.
Yeah.
So they look at us. They don't see anything that would draw them in.
That will entice them.
Exactly. But when you're able to bring a dimension of the gospel whereby you bring them in, they are transformed. But now you raise them up to such an extent whereby they now become deliverers as well.
They see their own significance.
Exactly. Then it makes them significant. They feel that, yes, I can relate to this. Because even non-Christians, Caucasians, they feel that they want to help people in Africa. They're not Christians, so they feel that they can give something. Yeah. So for them, it's about, okay, what can I contribute? Yeah. Not so much about what can I get.
It's about relevance.
Really, exactly, sir. So for me, when I saw that in Ukraine, I thought, my God, I need to register at this Bible school. I came back to London, shared the experience with my pastor who had already been to Ukraine. You know, I told him I want to go on this Bible school the program, and he encouraged me. I got a few other members of our church.
He's a progressive pastor.
Yes.
Your pastor is
Dr. Shola Folalade.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And so he actually encouraged you to come.
Oh yes, he did encourage me. In fact, the church paid for my own fees.
No.
Yes, the church paid for my
own fees.
No,
that is impressive. Yeah. That is impressive.
Yeah, because for him, it's about that impact as well. So not just for me, actually, the church paid for quite a few of us.
For you to attend the school?
To attend the school.
No, that is a different kind of pastor.
Yeah. Not because I couldn't pay, but because he wanted to make sure that
he was interested in you making it.
Yes. So he encouraged us to go through there. Anytime I come around, he would ask me, so what are the new things you're learning there? And I'm sure he wanted to come, but his own schedule didn't permit him.
I see. Because actually we have 40% of the Bible school are actually pastors.
Yeah.
40% of the people attending Bible school are pastors. So this History Makers Bible School is actually for pastors first of all. So if you are out there and you are a pastor and you are wondering, maybe I should send some members from my church, you need to come by yourself first, or you need to come with your leadership team, so that as you are getting the revelation, you don't need to struggle to communicate it back to the congregation. So, but there will be so many other people who are your army that will be ready to run with it. But if you just come by yourself and then you have to struggle to get to communicate to them what you're getting from the Bible school, it's going to take a much longer time. But if only your members come and you don't come, because Shola Folalade, for example, he's been to Kyiv, he reads the book, he's a good friend, he's communicates with me all the time. So for him, it's easier. And that's why he was interested in sending his members as well, so that they could join with him, join hands with him, and be able to produce better results. So then, what's your experience of the Bible school?
The Bible school for me was, it was not just, I need to also mention that for me, I knew that I would go in the line of Bible school, but I didn't want to go and learn theology.
I see. You were tired. Everybody was tired of theology.
I mean, there's nothing wrong for me. There's nothing wrong with theology, but I could read it up in books myself.
I see.
So I wanted hands-on experience. I wanted people to come and teach me who had actually lived what they're teaching. not lecturers that would just teach me from what they read in books, because I could read the same books.
Yes.
So going to the Bible school for me, provided that platform whereby we had, Pastor Natalia and your team coming in from Kiev, Pastor Tokpe, Pastor Tatiana, just coming in to teach us hands-on.
And these are people who are doing it.
They are
not
doing
just theoretical.
No, they're doing it. And they are not just doing, they're doing, and they're seeing results. So for me, that was the impact of it all.
Now, Bumi, right? Yeah, what will you tell people who are watching us right now and are wondering, well, I don't really know. Maybe this is working for him in the Ukraine, but we are in England. I don't think this Bible school will give me anything.
I think that would be a wrong notion, because just to reiterate the point that Bankole made, they don't need the products that we're currently selling in the UK.
I see.
Yes.
You mean the citizens, the indigents? Yes.
They don't need the products that we're selling. If you're not well, NHS will take care of you. If you need, if you don't have a job, you have social welfare. Mm-hmm. So they are not need oriented. They are the kind of people that have the orientation of relevance. So what we need is to engage with them. So the gospel
needs another packaging.
Yes, it needs another packaging. It's not the gospel of needs. It works in a land of poverty where people are looking for money. And you say, oh, he's a God of prosperity. The heavens will open. The showers of blessing. You will draw them in multiples. They will come running. But they're like, hey, I don't need money.
Yeah.
I'm well.
I'm healthy.
If I don't have a job, the government is going to pay me money. So what else can you offer me? So
that's why the gospel of the kingdom that we preach becomes
So we need the gospel of the kingdom. And the gospel of the kingdom is being Christ-like. Yes. How are we going to bring it to them? We need to engage with society. Yeah. How are we going to engage with society? We need to touch the needs of the people. And it's us getting out of the church, of the society. Yeah. Us getting out of the church and engaging with our community. And, talking to people. I mean, when people read Church Shift, which is what I recommend to people who are watching, that they should even start by getting a copy of Church Shift, because that alone will bring a transformation and bring a renewing of minds of people. It's
right?
Amazon.co.uk easily. It's readily available. I think it's less than £10 as of the last time I bought, because I have also bought a number of copies and I've given to pastor friends. I've even given to people to read, and they're like, wow, where did you get this book from? I'm like, that come to the Bible school. So I'll say to people that they should come. A lot of people are hungry and are thirsty, and they don't know how to express this thing that they have in them, which is something that God has birthed in them, but they don't know how to push this out and bring it to reality. The Bible school will teach you how to engage in society. How do you want to work in the political sphere? Do you want to work with government? Are you into media? Are you into arts? So they realize that it's not about a revelation where God has called me to be an apostle or where God has called me to be a minister, but right where you are, even in your job, in your office, even in your career, that could be the platform that God wants to use. So you come and learn how to use that platform to bring kingdom principles into society and affect, society as a whole. So I would really encourage people to come and see how God can use them in the area of destiny where He has called them. And I believe it's just one Saturday a month. And people don't have anything to lose. And I just believe that it is a call. For anyone that is watching, I want to say, like it happened to me, that it is not coincidence. It's not by accident that you're watching this. It's because God wants you to be there. And God has a plan and purpose for you. It's all about Him. It's not about you. It's how people would see you and see Christ in you, because we are His representative. And that is what we need to bring to the people. We need to go out to them. We need to meet them in their own domain and bring Christ to them. And in doing so, we raise leaders who will bring transformation, because we need to take control of the land. We cannot take control of the land in the four walls of the church. We cannot keep praying and say, God, give us godly leaders. We need to go there. But how do we get inroads into those spheres of society? That is what we learn by getting practical experience from people who are living in this dimension and living in this truth, who have shown us the way, that it's very easy. God has given us everything already. It's not about us praying and fasting endlessly, but it's about us using wisdom, kingdom wisdom, and following kingdom principles to engage people.
It's not that we don't believe in fasting, though. You are actually fasting right now in Kiev.
I mean, I'm not, that's not.
And we are praying here
obviously.
As well. But the purpose of prayer here is not about me anymore. It's about His kingdom come and His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. What will this Bible school do for pastors? Because 40% of people coming to the Bible school are pastors.
Okay. I would say that for pastors, generally, one of the first things, it would help you sharpen your vision.
I see.
Number one. And for those that have lost the calling, in a sense, because you could be preaching, yet you've strayed from your calling, it would help you get your calling back. In the sense that when you start to listen to what God is doing, and what God has been able to do through the life of the man of God here in Ukraine, if you are humble enough to come and experience it, you will be transformed by that experience.
Well, why do you think that the Bible school will help pastors and churches reach out to the white indigenes of England? Do you think this gospel and this concept could actually reach out and touch the white people in England?
Absolutely, because what we're selling is not working. We already see it in our churches. We have a black minister and the whole congregation is white. But it teaches you how to engage with your community. And that is what we need at this time. We are not engaging with the community. So that missing link between the church and society is what people will come and learn about. And it will help us to reach out to people. And when we present Christ to them, and we're not selling them needs, and we're selling them Christ-likeness, they see Him in us. They see us as God's representatives, to the world. I believe that we will draw them, not necessarily draw them in bringing them to church, but raise up leaders, replicate what we have learned so that we have a mass in the land, and thereby we can reach out to all the spheres and take up control and bring God's kingdom onto earth as He wants.
So confirm what you are saying. Yeah, I was actually one of the students from the Bible school, Pastor Debo, who began to practice what he learned from the school, and as a result is having a large number of white people coming to his church now.
Yes, that's
Did you
right.
hear the story?
Oh yes, that's right. He started to feed the homeless.
Okay.
And ordinarily people who would not come to church have started coming to church.
And they are British?
Yes,
I
they
have
are.
another testimony.
Okay.
One of our members that also came in from our church, one of our senior ministers, also sponsored by the church, again, because our senior pastor is into getting people, to get getting people empowered. So he started a drug project called Freedom. And from that drug project, he's been going out there and touching lives, and we're seeing transformation, even in our little community there.
Are you serious?
Yes. We were here together in Kiev last year. He went through the program with us at the History Makers Bible School. And as soon as we finished, he launched out the ministry.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So you will definitely recommend people to come to the school?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Oh, definitely.
What will you say about Kiev?
I think it's difficult to explain it. People need to experience it, but I'll try my best. I came in April for the anniversary, and I've come again. And in April, I was wondering, these people have just been Christians 1 year, and look at what they've done. And you're just blown away. And you really begin to see what Christ called you to do, meeting the needs of the people. And we're not talking about one group, two groups, but we see multiple platforms. People ministering to people who are drug addicts, people ministering to prostitutes, people talking about HIV, people going into political spheres and, going into parties and standing up against the government and, putting down their feet for righteousness and trying to impose kingdom principles. So it was an eye-opener. And for me, it was a revelation that you need to go back and work on yourself. You need to become Christ-like. You need to get things in proper perspective. You need to be totally sold out for the kingdom, because it is not about you. It is about God. And the fact that my life must make a difference. It was a challenge. If they can do it, it's the same God, that we're serving. And, it's the same understanding that these people have. So what have I been doing? Sometimes, for many people, we feel when we share our thoughts in the Bible school, we feel, man, we have been sleeping. But we thank God that we have found awakening, and, it will go forward.
What did Kiev do to you?
Well, I think for me, when I first came to Kiev last year, I met the most hospitable people that I've ever seen in the church. So I actually thought in my mind that, well, Ukrainians must be very hospitable. Only to find out this year as a revelation that it is actually what Christ has done in their lives. You know, that actually transformed.
Ukrainians are very different.
Oh, I hear so, and it's still hard for me to believe that. You know, so apart from going out there to do kingdom work, in their own personal lives there's transformation. You know, they are serving God and they are serving man. In that sense, you know. So for me, that's on one side of it, and coupled with what Bumi had said as well. You know, when I first came, you know, like I said, my life was so much transformed. I just knew that this is an opportunity of a lifetime. So here I am again in Ukraine, Kiev, you know, just basking in the same glory and taking in all that I can in this time.
Well, our time is fast running out. I can't believe it. And why do you think people watching you right now why do you think people in England need to come? Let Pastor Sunday stay in Kiev. Why should he come to Sunday Bible School? And why do people watching need to come to the school?
Well, I will start by saying that last year I told a few people about the Bible school. About 4 or 5 of them came with me to the Bible school, and they haven't been disappointed. So I know that if you come, your life will be transformed. And perhaps if you are serious about your Christian life and you want to make a difference with your life, you may want to consider coming to the Bible school, because this is new. I've read books, I've listened to tapes and materials, but this is a new revelation from God. And if you want to be a part of it, you need to come and be blessed by it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bankole. And this is on this note we finish this particular program. And you could just go on the website. Please go on the website and register for the Bible school. It's just one Saturday a month, and you can afford that. And tell your friends about it. It's a new chapter in your life and destiny. And it will be a joy for me to meet you there. May the Lord bless you now. Bye.